Okie doke. So this is the follow-up to the topographical contour line exercise that I had given you guys several weeks ago. So this is just to review what's happening here and go through how I would address this. And sorry if the camera's a little shaky. I got it on some sort of stand that I stole from my son. So what we have to do here is label all contour lines with their proper elevations where there is a break in the line. So here are our contour lines. Okay, there's a break, there's a break, there's a break. That's just so that we can put a number in here. Okay, so they've already given us one number, it's just 200. Okay, and we've got 10-foot contour intervals. Okay, we got 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, and 200, 190, 180, 170, 160, 150. So these are 10-foot contour lines. Okay, this 200-foot contour line comes out and about like that. Okay, and out and about like that. Okay, goes right through X. Now we need to label these. And the first thing that I'm going to do is, I guess, read the rest of this. So make a profile on the grid provided below along the AA line. So this is the AA line. Okay, this is the second task we have to do. And this is where we're going to put in kind of what the profile of this contour looks like as it relates to looking at it from a section view. And then last it says draw an arrow indicating the direction in which rivers are flowing. Okay, so from Y to X or X to Y, whether it's flowing that direction. Now this looks like a river as well. Okay, we do have like a little indent contour there. Okay. And what I'm going to do first is look at, okay, well, which direction are these contours going? In terms of, is this line higher or lower than this 200-foot contour line? And is this line higher or lower than this 200-foot contour line? Now, if these are indicated as rivers, okay, that this dark line, then if we have a contour line that comes in like this, that's going to indicate one of two things. Okay, it's either going to indicate some sort of canyon or valley, or it's going to indicate, if it is it could also indicate that it's some sort of peninsula. Okay, so if this is a river, would we expect that this sort of line indication here is a peninsula or some sort of canyon or valley? I'll give you a second to think about that. Okay, is this a peninsula? If this is a river, okay, we don't know which way it's flowing, but if this is a river, then when this swoop in the contour line indicate that it is a peninsula or a valley. Okay, so hopefully you figured out that it's going to indicate that it's a valley or a canyon or something. So given that, the first thing we know is that this is some sort of valley. Okay, and then consequently, if this is some sort of valley, then this must be some sort of peninsula, right? Some sort of peninsula. This would indicate some sort of like in-cut. Okay, so concave, convex. Okay, and we might be able to see that a little bit more when we get to number 2. But if I'm going to label these, and because I've determined that this is a valley and not a peninsula, then this line must be higher than this line and must be lower than this line, this line, this line. So if this is 200, then this is, I'm upside down right now, so I'm going to do my best here. This is 210. and this must be 220, and this must be, so 210, 220, 230, 230. So this one that we don't need to label, but we could as 240. Okay. So if this is 200 feet, this is 210, 220, 230, 240, this is going up, this must be coming down, right? So if this is 200 and this is 210, then this must be 190 feet. Okay? So we have these labeled. We have one last one labeled here. Or one last one to label. It's right here. Okay? So if this is 200, this is 210, and this is 220. Is this 210? No, it's 220. Okay, so this is 220. And if that's the case, then we have one more. Sorry, I missed this one. One more to label here. This must be 230. I'm gonna put a little space between that just to indicate that they're two different ones. Maybe I'll just erase it. Okay. So 200, 190, 200, 220, 230. Okay. So this is almost like a plateau up here. Okay. And then this is a kind of the footing, the plateau. This is 210, which swoops all the way through it. So if I read like the contours coming through here, I'm going up, 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 level, down. Probably goes down to about here, levels out, but less than 10 feet. Back up to 220, up to 230, up to 240. Okay, so we've labeled all of these in here. And again, sorry, I'm drawing upside down, so this is a little challenging for me. Anyways, the second step on this is to make a profile on the grid provided below along the AA line. Okay, so this is our AA line, and I'm gonna make a profile here. Okay, 190 looks like it comes somewhere out here. So if I draw a mark down to 190, I'm going outside of the lines here. I know that's crazy. Okay, here I'm at the 200 mark, and what I'm doing is I'm just giving myself a mark to go off of, and there's my 200 mark. Okay, so these are just lines that I'm bringing down. This is a plan view, and this is a sectional view that we're drawing. Okay, make a profile or a profile view of this contour. So I'm looking at this. This is a 200 contour line. Okay, and along AA it crosses here. And so I'm translating that using the triangle down to here. Next one is 210, and I'm going to translate that down to the 200 contour. So here's our 210 mark. Here's our 210 mark. I'm going to put a little line there. And here's our 220 mark. I'm going to put a little line there, right? Because this is 220, 210, 200, 190, etc. And then finally I've got my 230 mark and my 230 mark, and then I'm going down to 220 again, and then I'm going across to 220 again, right? 200, 210, 220. This is where this line would cross. And I'm going over to the 230, so 200, 210, 220, 230. I'm gonna give myself a little mark indication there. Oops, that was a bad one. Bad. There we go. Okay, so there's my 230. No, again, see, I'm pushing out to this one. I actually have to see where it crosses on the line AA. Okay, so I'm crossing right here. So I'm bringing that there. 200, 210, 220, 230. I'm here. And then here's my 240 mark. Okay, so I'm here. And so to draw what this looks like, and again, I'm outside of the lines here, but probably doesn't do that. I'm basically crossing right through these lines. So this comes up like this, and plateaus, and then goes down, crosses this line. It probably dips down a little bit, but not quite to the 210, because the 210 mark isn't here, right? It does not cross through here, so we're not going to hit 210, but it probably continues down a little bit and then swoops back up. And sorry, this surface is horrible. Swoops back up, and so on. Okay. So this is what that contour looks like in profile view. Okay, and if I looked at where I'm indicating that this profile line crosses here, okay, I might say that, okay, if this is 220 and this is 210, then this is maybe 213. Okay, so that would show me, that would tell me that if I were to put a spot elevation right here, that this would be 213 as the elevation. Okay, so this is what that, so like if you were hiking straight up this, across this, down this, this is what you'd be doing. La 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 la, right? You're walking uphill, you're walking uphill, you're walking uphill, you're crossing a peninsula, sorry, not a peninsula, a plateau, and then you trip and fall and tumble down to the 213, and then you get up, shake yourself off, and then you're walking uphill. Okay, so that same thing, you're walking uphill, you're tired, you rest on the plateau, you get up, you trip, you fall, you tumble down to the 213, get up, dust yourself off, and then walk up the hill. Okay, so all that being said, if we look at this, and we kind of determined this earlier, the number 3 here, draw in arrows indicating the direction in which rivers are flowing. Okay, so if this is a canyon and this is 200 and this is a canyon 210, 220, 230, then the river water flow is flowing from Y to X in this river, and this one doesn't have any letters or variables to indicate what they actually are, but this river would be flowing which way? That's our water flow. Okay, so this one is Y to X, and this one is this way to that way. Okay, so hopefully this clears up some stuff on topographical plans, right? If you hike or you've done any backpacking or looked at topographical maps of mountains and stuff, I always find them pretty interesting. You can see interesting landforms like we talked about. This is peninsula, plateau, canyon or valley, right? Okay, so interesting stuff. But the point of this is to show you what these contour lines mean. Okay, and if you understand what they mean, then the ultimate goal would be to be able to figure out what they indicate and how to manipulate them. Okay.